The pumpkins are out, the goblins and witches are choosing their costumes, and pretty soon trick-or-treaters are going to be knocking at your door. Halloween should be a lot of fun, and usually it is, but every once in a while, a child ends up in the emergency room. I'm Shelley Koffler from University Health System. I'm here with Mandy Fultz. She is the coordinator for Safe Kids San Antonio, which is led by University Health System. And Mandy, we want everybody to have a good time this Halloween. So you've brought a lot of stuff here for us to look at, and you're going to give us some safety tips.
Yes.
Let's start with this furry little guy here,
and
tell us what that's all about.
So I brought us a couple of masks to talk about. A lot of kids like to dress up as their favorite character. Masks are a big thing, but one of the challenges with masks is, as you can see, the eyes aren't very well cut out. So it's going to make it really hard for a child to see where they're going. It's going to make it really hard for a child to be able to look left, right, left when they're crossing the street. So as cute as my little bear mask is, I discourage using something like that because it does make it challenging for kids to see. Same with my scary mask here. This I know has been popular in the last several years as a scary guy. This is an adult size mask, and so if a child is putting this on, the eyes don't really match up and line up with the holes where the eyes are in the mask, but it also makes it really hard for kids to see where they're going. It makes it really hard for kids to look left, right, left before they cross the street.
So they could fall, they could be hit, they could just make a
Absolutely.
move that isn't really the best move as they try to get to where they're trying to go.
Absolutely.
So they still want to look spooky, of course.
Of
What do you
course.
recommend?
So I recommend using either paints or face paint or makeup. They can get super creative with the makeup. It comes in a bunch of different colors, and you really can have a lot of fun with it. And it doesn't obstruct their vision at all.
Okay, great. Now you have some other things over here. How about these
Yeah, brought
unusual little glasses?
some fun little glasses. You know, I can still see just fine without it obstructing my vision. Same for you. You can be a silly clown or whatever you want to be.
I've been called that before.
So you can still wear something like this
Yeah.
and look left, right, left and not have an issue with being able to see where you're going.
Okay. And of course, Halloween's all about being scary for some kids.
Sure.
So here we have our proverbial meat cleaver.
Right.
What is it about this that makes this either a good or a bad prop?
Okay, so a lot of kids do like to have props, especially if there's something scary. And if your costume involves a weapon of some kind, making sure that the weapon looks like a toy. We want it to be obviously a toy. And for this guy right here, one, he glows in the dark, and he's clearly plastic, very bendy. So if you were to trip or fall or accidentally bump into another trick-or-treater, it's not going to hurt anybody.
And you brought another little weapon here, which I think is kind of interesting because of what it does.
So same thing, it's got a rounded edge, and it's also glows in the dark, and it retracts. So if you were to trip and fall, then it wouldn't hurt anybody.
Okay, great. And you make a good point here. It has a rounded edge.
Absolutely.
You know, I think kids don't mean to hurt other kids or other people, but pointed things when you're having a lot of fun and getting kind of rowdy.
Getting excited about things.
Yeah, sure. Things can get out of hand a little bit.
Right.
You also have a pile of things here that I think have another purpose or another helpful purpose, and that is...
So when we're
Visibility.
trick-or-treating, we want our kids to be visible. So a lot of costumes sometimes can be really dark. So we want to make sure that they have something that is either blinking or lights up. I encourage parents to carry a flashlight.
Great idea.
Flashlights are built in on most of our phones now, so that's an easy one. We've got our partners over at Vision Zero have some fun blinky lights where kids can wear it on their arm, or you can put it on your trick-or-treat bag. Other types of things, this is a combination blinky reflector, so not only does it blink, but it also reflects back and forth. So just making sure kids are visible. One, fun prop, glow sticks. Who doesn't like glow sticks? And they make them in different shapes now, so that if it
We
goes
have a devil's
with
scepter here.
Sure. So
But
if
it might be something else, right?
right. So if it goes with your costume, have a glow stick involved. But also you can put reflective tape. So this purple tape here is actually reflective, and it goes on your Halloween bucket or basket to where that's also where cars and drivers can see you.
And it would seem to me that most of these things you can get in your local grocery store.
Absolutely.
They're not expensive.
Not at all.
Okay,
Easy
so
things.
good for parents to know. Another thing you might want to pay attention to is whether children should walk alone. At what age it might be appropriate for them to go with their friends, maybe by themselves, although I don't know, in this day and time, maybe that's not the best thing to
Sure.
do. What do you recommend in terms of going with some kind of supervision?
So I would say kids under the age of 12 still need to have an adult walking with them, going house to house trick-or-treating. Definitely older kids, making sure that they are in pairs or in groups, but that we're teaching our kids to go down one side of the street trick-or-treating, and then we're crossing at, whether it's a crosswalk or a corner, we're looking left, right, left before we cross, and then crossing the street to go down the other side. Definitely want our younger kids within arm's reach of our parents. If you don't have sidewalks in your neighborhood, making sure that you're walking as close to the edge of the street or maybe in the grass is important too.
And I think, it's unfortunate we have to mention this in this day and time, but people sometimes get a little concerned if they see somebody in camo carrying a gun, even though the gun may be just a prop or a toy.
Sure.
What kind of recommendations do you have to make it obvious that this is a valid Halloween costume?
Right. So I would say with any type of weapon, making sure it's definitely looks like a toy. Nerf guns, the orange guns, the green guns, things that are obviously toys are really, really helpful, and to avoid those toy guns that could be mistaken for something real.
And I think it probably goes without saying, if you come across a house that's dark, they probably aren't looking for trick-or-treaters.
Correct.
They really don't want you to knock on their door. Sure. So what? Just go to the next house.
Go on to the next house that has a light on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
Let's just go through some of these
Okay.
tips again, just as a reminder and a summary. So what are they?
So I would say we're going to avoid masks and use makeup or face paint instead. Any type of weapons, we want to make sure it's obviously a toy. And then we want to be visible. So we want to have flashlights, blinky lights, reflectors, glow sticks, so that people can see us. And then we're walking with an adult if we're under the age of 12. And when we cross the street, we're still following the rules of the road to look left, right, left. We're making eye contact with drivers if they're at a stop sign or a stoplight, making sure that they see us before we step out onto the street.
Well, these are all such great tips to keep your Halloween safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mandy Fultz, she is the coordinator for Safe Kids San Antonio, and that's led by University Health System. I'm Shelley Koffler from University Health System. Have a happy Halloween and stay safe.